G'day viewers, welcome back to Pete's Investing. It's the weekend, July 22, 2023. Here we're going to be talking about some commodities and where they've rested on this weekend. So we're going to be looking at gold, silver, Bitcoin, natural gas, US crude, the USDXY dollar, the NASDAQ and the Nikkei Japanese stock market. You'll notice on gold and silver we've hit our divergence targets as well as on the US dollar. We're still in play on the Bitcoin divergence, and I'll talk about the hourly trends and price action for each. So first off, we'll talk about gold in terms of what it's doing now. You'll notice on gold, it's come back and it's retraced back from that wider Fibonacci range, and it's retraced back to the 38% level, but it's also hit our divergence target, and that divergence was this bearish divergence down here versus the price. I've also got down here a stochastic 800, which is basically showing the trend, the overall trend for the hourly chart, and potentially any pullbacks. As you can see there, again, there's a bit of a retrace. Now, we're not saying it's stopped there. It could well continue to the downside, especially if it breaks below the 61% of the Fibonacci and also the midpoint 50 on the stochastic. You'll notice there the CCI is still in decline, so there may be some further downside for gold. Going back to the chart for silver, again, we're looking at a target being hit on the divergence. So similar to gold, it's bounced off this key resistance at 25.27, and it's pulled back to this retrace level at 23% level. As well, it's hit the divergence target on that where we drew last time. And you can see there the bearish divergence versus the price, as well as stochastic is breaking down as well, with the CCI continuing its decline. Next, we're going to look at Bitcoin. Now with Bitcoin as well, we've still got a divergence still in play. Actually, no, it's hit the divergence target back here on our previous video. That's still moving sideways, so possibly may bounce from there, although the stochastic is actually breaking down, but importantly the CCI is still running flat along with the price as well. So that's still hovering around a 23% retrace level between that Fibonacci range. So at the moment I would call it, you can see there, I'll call it a bullish move, but it's been bullish it's been in that range between that minor support and that resistance for almost a couple of months now. So we'll keep an eye on that. So it's actually hit our divergence target there, but it may well come in and retrace back further to the upside possibly. So again, we'll see how that goes. Next one is natural gas. Now for natural gas, we do have, it's also still in a bullish mode, ever so slightly on the hourly chart. You can see there it broke up and hit our divergence back there, and the price is still moving to the upside. It's actually retraced beyond the 100% level of that Fibonacci range. The CCI is still pulling up, although there might be a slight divergence here. Let me just draw that. Versus a double top there. So we may see a pullback further than what it is at the moment. So we'll just keep an eye on that. I've drawn a slight trend line on that below those bottoms there. But the stochastic is breaking up through past the midpoint and it's making further advancements. But again, it could be a slight retrace to the downside from there. It's hit this minor resistance at 27.63. So again, it's also consolidating in this triangular range between that resistance line and that trend line as well. Now next we've got crude oil. So for crude oil, it's hitting resistance as well. So you can see there back there it did hit our target from that bearish divergence, and that's still for hovering between roughly the 38% level on Fibonacci to that key resistance, and it's bounced off that resistance level twice already. You can see there the stochastic is in the oversold area, and the CCI is making some advancements, so we may possibly see a break through that resistance in the coming hours or even days. So again, we'll keep an eye on that and how that progresses. Next we've got the US dollar. Now the US dollar has hit its divergence. You can see there we had a a support area down there from our previous video. It's bounced off with that bullish divergence on the CCI versus the price. It bounced up and it hit the target just before our previous video. You'll notice the CCI is still advancing, although the stochastic is also advancing from the overbought territory, so we may see further upside from here. So at the moment it's still hovering around a 38% retrace level. Next we've got the NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ is still in a bearish decline after hitting that key resistance at 15,930. And it's now it's actually just touched the 50% retracement level. Hit our target on a divergence, that bearish divergence, hit our target, and it's broken through that to the 50% level, as I said. So you'll notice the CCI is still declining, likewise the stochastic, so we may see further declines from here. One key area to look out for is the 61% Fibonacci range. If it breaks below that, then we're most likely going to see a sharper decline. And lastly, let's look at the Nikkei, and that's also bouncing around the Fibonacci ranges. So in terms of what I mean by that, if you go to the chart, I've drawn these Fibonacci ranges. So let's look at this area here between that high and that low. It's actually just broken through that 61% and hovering around a 61% Fibonacci. Back here between that low and that high, you can see there it's come and bounced off that 61% before making further upside and then pulling back again. And then between that high and that low as well, you can see there it's reached the 61%, in this case the 50%, and bounced up to the 61% level. So it's still doing funny buggers at the moment, but overall it did hit our bullish divergence here on the CCI initially, and the CCI is now pulling back and potentially going to fall. You can see that the stochastic is below the 50 mark, and it may well drop further possibly, but we'll keep an eye on that, as I said. So that's where we are at the moment with the instruments on the commodities. So feel free to like, subscribe and share the channel. We also do a weekly scan on a Patreon channel. We scan for stocks, currencies and commodities. Subscribe, like and share the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in a future video.